Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to another episode of Tough Sports TV. I'm your host, Jack Fletcher. Merry Christmas to everybody, especially Mr. Jamie Delroy Stewart. 48 hours since your fight, Matchroom Boxing, Wembley Arena, AJ Pulev undercard, and what a performance! Is it finally sunk in as to what you've achieved on Saturday night, Jamie? Because what a great performance!
Yeah, it sunk in last night. I went to shop and on the way back, it kind of just hit me like, yo, you were on Sky Sports last night and you thought your heart out, you'd be proud. But I had a bit of doubt. But to be fair, now I've watched it back and that, I thought I boxed his head off.
You took this fight on just 4 days' notice. I think the general consensus was this was going to be a real warm-up fight for Marku, for him to go in there, put on a performance, and maybe take his opponent out within a couple of rounds. But yourself, Scott Lawton, John Edmund and the gang definitely had other ideas. Just talk me through the experience, the fight, from your point of view.
Oh, it was meant just being there on that undercard was a win-win for me. I was so happy, just like I was sat there with all them legends, and it was just ace-like, and all the prospects that were there, it was ace-like. And I was confident coming into it, like, because I've sparred a couple of guys that he's fought, and I thought they played to his game plan in their fights with him, and I didn't want to do that really. I wanted to do my own thing, like how I went out with Hennessy, just box, move, and basically, I think that's what I did. Anyway, I know I got caught and I went down in the second. It wasn't a knockdown. I took the knee by choice, thinking about them later rounds. So I'm happy.
Florian Marku's got a reputation for having ferocious knockout power, and he couldn't put you out of the game. I mean, if anything, it was a 50-50 fight throughout the whole fight. He was coming forward, punching punches, but you were demonstrating your boxing ability as well as having a granite chin, Jamie.
Yeah, I've said from day one that I ain't getting knocked for my life. Everyone will tell you the same, that I have got the biggest pair of goners you would ever seen. I've never backed down from not one fight. I've always gone in, head held high, win or lose. And I've never been put down by a headshot. A body shot's a different story. Like, everybody knows when you get hit in that body shot, the nice shot, you know that hurt. But I got a chin. I think I'm tough. I know I'm tough just from obviously going out there Saturday night and doing what I did.
Jamie, the strategy that you implemented on the night to fight Florian Marku, is that something that was sort of planned in the gym, or did you actually just get into the ring? Was it a feeling out process?
We got the phone call at 11 o'clock on Tuesday night, and we were there at Wednesday. We didn't have a game plan. We were just there to fight.
Did you know of Florian Marku before you stepped to the ring with him? Did you ever watch any YouTube videos, any footage?
I actually went and I actually watched Marku on Into Boxing just before my debut. And I ain't gonna lie, I said back then, like, oh, I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him. He was mustard. Like, I think he knocked the guy out on Ultimate Boxer. It was nice, yeah. Like, he looked dangerous.
Let's just talk about the result. So you got the draw, but after the fight, there was Sam Jones, his team, S-Jam Boxing. A lot of people were saying that it was a robbery. Since that point, I've heard Dave Allen on Instagram saying that it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. I mean, the bottom line is you've had 4 days' notice for this fight, and let's be fair, Florian Marku's at a full training camp. So
yeah,
it's really, people are skirting around that point, aren't they? A little bit.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say big up Dave Allen, the White Rhino, because I think he's game just like me. He'd go out and fight anybody. And you give me a 10-week training camp for now. I've been in there and seen what he's got. I know exactly how to execute him. Basically, my way. I could box him around the ring, stay off them ropes. He wants you on them ropes. He only swings punches for 50 seconds a round. I felt like I was working every second of every round. boxing wise. I feel like I could outbox him.
I think you prove your tenacity, you prove your fitness. I think your gum shield flew out your mouth in the later rounds. That looked like a really heavy shot. Did you feel that, Jamie?
No, I didn't feel it. I wouldn't even know that it went missing. I wanted to just carry on.
And your thoughts on Florian's comments after the fight in the post fight interview when you were standing next to each other? You didn't look thoroughly impressed with what he was saying.
I went off. I was just over the moon. I jumped in there. He wants to be a world contender, so I'm going to say it. He's classed as a world contender boxer. He wants so I jumped up levels in 4 days just to find out where I am in this game anyway. So I'm going to say he's probably one of the top 4 already sitters in my weight category. And I went 8 rounds with him. He was tired in them last 2 rounds. I was still bouncing around. I'm not scared of that guy. I'm scared of no one.
And how much do you feel that you personally learned from that fight and that experience?
I learned a lot from that fight. Basically, I do what I did in that fight, sitting on them ropes. I do that sometimes in the gym. And that's not my best. I like to move. And to be fair, he was very quick, I have to say. He didn't hit hard like how everyone said he did. He hit average. But I thought he moved very quick. He closed that distance quicker than what he looked like on tally. He was 1 minute he was in front of you, next he's at the side of you, like he closed it. So I don't want to put bad mouth in because, as he said, he's kickboxing world champion 3 times, I think he said, and 200 kickboxing fights, MMA fights. I beg him up because in his country, he is a hero. And I appreciate that. And all good to him, all fair. He's a fighting man, and I like that.
So hypothetically, you get the rematch that you want. I think Dave Allen mentioned he'd like to see it over 10 rounds.
Oh, yeah, well, I've had 3 fights. I've done 4 rounds. My second fight I did 6 rounds, and then my third fight I did 8 rounds. I do the 10 rounds. I do 12 rounds. I think just before lockdown anyway, in 1 day I've done 28 rounds, not one after each other, but broke down into 2 sets. So I'm fit to box them rounds. I don't think they'll want a rematch because I don't think they'll want lose. I don't even think it'll be Marku. I think he'll want the rematch. I don't think his manager will.
And you genuinely believe this is why they're avoiding the fight? They know full well that you've had 4 days' notice for that fight, and they knew how close it was, and that's why they're avoiding it, because they feel that it's a big risk to take that fight, because 10-week training camp have finally tuned Jamie Delroy Stewart against Florian Marku. Now that you know how he works, how he operates, how he moves around the ring, you can pick your shots, and you're confident of getting the victory next time round if it was to happen.
We could build a strategy what could beat him. His footwork's not the best. Once he had this short burst, that's it. Then he started to back up. He uses a lot of energy letting off them big shots for nothing because he didn't hit. I think a lot of people in this game don't have a chin. I think they've got abilities and boxing abilities, but I don't think they're very tough in themselves in general. And I think the people that he's been getting in with and he's been knocking them out just didn't believe in themselves enough to get back up. I will fight until the lights go out. I've been in fights where I've been losing and they've give up because I've not stopped swinging. I just go to the end. You were there on my debut when I boxed Qasim, and I said that day, I don't want journeyman. I want tough. I want my fans to see me into a fight. If I ain't coming out of a fight with a black eye, I ain't had a fight.
Yeah, your very first professional fight, Kings All Stoke. I was there. I witnessed you get the victory, and that's what you mentioned. You verbalised that. 12 months down the line, Michael Hennessy Jr. on a Hennessy sports card. Result there, and then Florian Marku. You must be looking at the division now. Your Josh Kellys, your Echo Essermans, your Conor Benns. Now that you've gone this distance with Florian Marku on just 4 days' notice, you must be feeling that confident that you've got the ability to mix it with the best in the division.
I'm confident I can mix it with them. I'm not going to say I'm at the level of Chris Congo or Conor Benn, because to me they're idols. Like, they're what I want. I want to be where they are. But I'm, like I said, I'm still learning as well as I'm going. I haven't got like the amateur background these lads. The God I come from, a novice background. I'm still learning. Like, before I started with Scott Lawton, I was just trying to knock everyone out, and now I'm trying to box, and I'm trying to mix the two together to where I'm trying to offset people. They don't kind of read me. They can't read me right because I'm doing awkward stuff, unpredictable things. And I think we need a little bit more time to work on that. But because I've actually been in there, done the 8 rounds, had the feel of how it went, I believe I can execute a plan perfect from that.
I mean, a lot of professional boxers, they build up their record over a period of time, get to 14, 15 fights, and then they get these opportunities to fight your Hennessy Juniors, your Florian Markus. You've leapfrogged that whole time frame, and you've been put to the test, and you've passed these tests. You've actually passed these tests. You've beat Hennessy Jr., you've got a draw against Marku, gone the distance, you've proved that you've got a granite chin, great boxing ability. And it's a fantastic achievement. And you've really put Stoke on the map with this. I mean, Stoke in general have had a fantastic year so far. Luke Jones getting the shock result as well, and you yourself as well. It's amazing. You must be very proud of yourself, Jamie.
I am. I just want to. The boxing board took a risk with me because I've come from a criminal background and stuff like that. So I just want to make the board proud of trusting me with a license to do this sport. I want to make like my Midlands Council proud to say that they accepted me through with my license. I want to make Scott proud because of all the time he spent with me. I don't just do it for me. I do it for everybody else. I want to give my kids a better life. I don't want them to grow up like how I kind of grew up, being naughty and getting into trouble. I want to. They're in the gym when they're old enough, and no doubt my lad now's already boxing away at home. So I just want, this is a life changer for me, so I want it to be a life changer for them. And the more I can achieve will make them want to achieve more than me. So that's why I do it.
Just kind of moving away from that, after the fight, did you get the opportunity to have any words with Eddie Hearn about what's going to be coming next?
No, to be fair, it was a big night for Anthony Joshua that night, which was a cracking night. In respect to Pulev, because I thought for a 39-year-old, he gave it some in there. He was a busy man, so to be fair, I'd been away. My kids were missing me. We got back to the changing rooms. I just wanted to change, get home, see my kids, and cuddle.
Just tell me, Jamie, what you want next. What do you want next? What do you want to happen next in 2021, early part, January, February time?
A lot of people were trying to say that Marku got robbed. How can I go to Matchroom Boxing and rob their home fighter? The home fighter doesn't get robbed. We get robbed. That's what I've always been told. The away fighter always gets robbed. So that's why I always give it everything. So if they want a rematch, I will rematch happily. I'm already training now for the tactics that I would use in that rematch. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Who's next? I'll fight anyone.
And hypothetically, it does happen. A finely tuned Jamie Stewart on the next fight against Marku. What happens in that fight?
More than what happened in the one Saturday night, I can tell you that one. I already know what I needed to. As soon as I got out the ring, it just clicked. I got to do more movement with this guy. I'm not going to say a lot on the camera because then they're going to be thinking exactly what I've been doing. But I am the most unexpected boxer in my gym. Ain't no one can figure me out. I'm unpredictable. I don't even know what I'm doing sometimes myself. I just let natural instinct take over. Now I can actually set a game plan up and follow and listen and correct my mistakes.
I think it's fair to say as well, and you've touched on this a couple of times in interviews, that you sparring with these big heavyweights at Impact and the likes of Rashawn Erlington, that has absolutely done you the world of good in your fights, I'd say.
I appreciate sparring everyone down at Impact because they've got the amateur background and the boxing brain. They're clued up, and with me sparring better people, I'm only going to get better myself. So thank you to the lads down at the gym. You all know I love you.
Good stuff. Jamie, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you this evening. Like I say, great performance. You've really put Stoke on the map. And I think we'd all like to see Jamie Stewart, Florian Marku rematch 2021. Let's hope they can make it happen. Any final words, or do you want to thank any sponsors?
I want to thank all my sponsors. They all know who they are. I did a live video Sunday morning at the gym. And I just want to say loud and proud, up the Potters.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to watching this back, Jamie, because I don't know if you noticed, but quarter of the way through this interview, my chair actually broke.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it broke and snapped back, and I kind of composed myself, but I'll probably see a little flip.
You did well, man, because I didn't even notice.
Good stuff. Jamie, have a fantastic Christmas. Enjoy it, and I'm sure you're going to come back in the new year with a bang.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. I'd just like to say thank you to Matchroom Boxing for actually accepting me for that fight, because that was the biggest platform I could ever ask for, and I really appreciate it. I enjoyed every minute being there, and Matchroom was so great. I'm not going to say Sam Jones and them were great because I don't think they were. They were disrespectful, but Matchroom's team were absolutely spot on. Thank you.
Brilliant, Jamie. Have a good evening, and thanks for coming on to Tough Sports TV.
Thanks, Jack. Have a nice Christmas, mate.
You too, Jamie. Cheers.
See you later.